Do you know what the porn is doing to your brain? Porn changes the human brain by rewiring the way you think, especially when you are young. It creates an unrealistic expectations and distracts you from real life. Once the youngsters become addicted to consuming porn, it's insanely hard to stop for the young brains to come out with those thoughts, as it is the strongest force in human nature. Because the bitter fact is that they want to become adults soon and experience how it feels like. Too much consuming of porn will fry your what we call dopamine. Dopamine is the most notably involved in helping us feel pleasure as part of the brain's reward system, such as go shopping, playing video games, smells of mouth-watering foods, and most especially the sensation of having sex. All these things can trigger dopamine release or dopamine rush. This feel-good neurotransmitter is also involved in reinforcement. Dopamine is one of the happiness chemical in the brain for reward system. Chasing cheap dopamine made by porn is the worst addiction to mankind. Dopamine makes young minds crave the feeling they get from porn. Their body and mind remembers the pleasure the first experience produced. It wires them to chase that intensity repeatedly. So, here we're gonna show you the 7 bad results of consuming porn by young minds. Number 1. Porn is creating an unsafe society for youngsters. A safe society is the most important platform to emerge young talents in various fields. Once the young mind starts consuming porn, they start chasing sex. Everything all about sex, which eventually become the addictions, and they stuck there. Porn is the biggest crime that creating an unsafe society and surroundings for young girls and women. Youngsters influenced by porn is the somewhere are the reason behind rapes. Porn is not only consuming time, focus, health, and money, but also compromising the life of youngsters. Don't you think that due to excessive porn, failure is inevitable? Yes, it changed in attitude towards women. Somewhere consuming porn at a young age is the result of rapes, mental health issues, disease, unprotected sex, getting pregnant at a young age. And maybe that's the reason it's banned in India and many other countries. But the bitter truth is, it is still consumed illegally by the most of the youngsters. Number 2. Porn is affecting the physical and mental health of youngsters. Good health is the prerequisite to achieve any success. That's why the old saying, health is wealth, has never been old. Porn is the greatest addiction in this entire universe. Too much consuming of porn can result in becoming unable to be aroused by normal sexual encounters because they program themselves into being a voyeur. That leads to erectile dysfunction and cheap brain chemicals, lower regular levels of dopamine, feeds your insecurities with women, performance anxiety, setting yourself up to an unrealistic expectations, and will never be satisfied. Porn is a super stimulant. In other words, it boosts your dopamine levels unnaturally high. This makes it extremely addictive for some people. It makes other things around you much less pleasurable because the only way you can get that really good feeling is to go back to porn. Porn affects your brain. Porn rewires the way your brain works, causing social anxiety, low self-esteem, lack of motivation, and brain fog, etc. Porn makes the part of your brain called lateral orbital frontal cortex shuts down, wherein this part of the brain is responsible for rational decision making and logical thinking. Porn hijacks the brain reward system and overwhelms it with the cheap hits of dopamine. With that said, it can result to youngsters' brain physically deteriorating in shape, size, and chemical balance. Youngsters become easily addicted to porn and not only affect their physical health but also their mental health. Anger level is increased also in those who regularly watch porn. This disrupts internal processing of emotions, presence in life, and relationships. Porn drains your dopamine receptors, which holds you in a depressed state. They feel guilty, depression, tiredness, and ultimately lose their confidence and fail in life. It weakens your willpower and lowers your motivation to do anything. Porn causes internal shame. Regardless of your belief, everyone experiences an internal shame after viewing pornography. This also bleeds in other areas in your life after reviewing it. If you stop watching porn, you will have increased energy and sense of drive. Number 3. Porn silently robbing money from youngsters. Not only health, but porn is also directly and silently robbing money from youngsters. Nowadays, in this modern technology, every youngsters have access to mobile or smartphones. The sad truth is, millions of youngsters are just using internet every day for consuming porn, and not the real knowledge which can grow their skills. There are many websites, apps, and areas where money from youngsters are being snatched by making them fool in the name of false pleasure. Here is the bad effect. Instead of investing in stocks, property, business, or on self-upgradation, youngsters hold and conserve their money for sex that caused by porn. They prioritize hooking up rather than self-development, which makes them broke and eventually fail in life. Number 4. Porn is wasting the precious and productive time of youngsters. In youngsters' early developmental levels, early exposure from porn can stop them from emotional maturity, development of brains, and taking responsibility. Time is so precious that no money can buy it, as porn destroys your productivity. At a young age, it is the most productive and efficient one. Therefore, the time during age of 15 to 35 becomes more precious in comparison to the rest of the life. In reality, instead of youngsters searching for something for personal development or listening to financial tutorial, youngsters instead wasting their time searching for entertainment on porn. Porn is the greatest time waster ever. Youngsters watching porn waste their precious time and ultimately lose their productivity. Eventually leads them to find someone to get laid, as it becomes an addiction and do it over and over again, and eventually fail in life. So clearly proven that porn is diverting youngsters from success to failures. Number 5. Porn is distracting and stealing the focus of youngsters. Focus is the most important because it is the gateway to all thinking, memorization, learning, problem solving, and decision making. It makes youngsters stupid there because there is a part of the brain called lateral orbital frontal cortex, which is so important because that is responsible for logical thinking and rational decision making, and porn makes it shuts down. Here is the simple reality that if you cannot focus effectively, you cannot think effectively, affecting your day-to-day concentration. 1 in 5 people who regularly watch porn have admitted that they felt controlled by their own sexual desires. It makes you weak, anxious, and lose your masculine energy. You could have been focused and disciplined man if you are not a slave by your own sexual urges. Porn is the greatest distracting element available in this world. Due to porn, youngsters' mind remains busy in fake fantasy, and hence unable to innovate and execute anything effectively and ultimately lose their recognition and fail in life. Number 6. Porn ruins your chances of becoming the best father and mother you can be. Research shows that children from homes where parents view porn suffer decreased parental time and attention. When porn consumed one's thoughts, it leaves no room for other meaningful relationships. Porn kills love. 56% of divorce cases involved one having parted due to having an obsessive interest in porn websites. Somewhere many of the broken relationships in 21st century are also the results of porn. Mostly, what happens is young minds consume porn, they start chasing sex, they start dating for sex, and not for the real connection. Eventually, breakup happens. Number 7. When you watch porn, you are contributing to sex trafficking. This is the worst effect among all I mentioned. Every time you watch porn, you contribute to its success and financially support the producers. To go further and further into perversion involves teen and child abuse. This is a wake-up call for all youngsters. As early as possible, try to practice abstinence and discipline. Affirms that you are not gonna watch porn again, and instead use the time and energy to work towards achieving your goals and reaching new levels of success. If you don't want to jeopardize your future over an addiction or being a cool guy, for some men, having a relatively high body counts might be as good as it shows your sexual prowess. But little that they know, they are being stuck in the cycle of collecting body counts as they enjoy the addiction of sex, which obviously caused by too much consumable porn. Think of it this way, if you don't want to be failed in life in the future, break the cycle. Stop consuming porn as early as possible.